Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about some standard functions that you should be very familiar with by now. So you've taken a lot of math courses so far and you have been exposed to these functions. Basically, when I say that you should be familiar, so what does that mean? Familiarity, it means you know what the domain is, you know what the range of these functions are, you know what their graphs look like, and you know the properties of these functions. Okay, so one sort of assignment or a self-evaluation you can do is try to make examples of all these and see if you can answer all of these things about the graphs. Okay. You should pause the video right now and try to answer these questions for all of these functions. So say polynomial, radical, rational, exponential, logarithm, trigonometric, and again trigonometric you have a bunch of them, right? You have sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, etc. Right, so some things are like for certain. For example, the domain of a polynomial, you can put anything into a polynomial. Now the range is sort of depends on the polynomial. Similarly, for a radical function, the domain it depends because you need the square root to be inside the square root to be positive. But if it's an odd root, it can be anything. And for rational, you need that the denominator does not equal 0. Yeah. Similarly for logarithm, you need that the argument is not negative. Exponential, again, it has the capacity to take any input and then the output depends. Sine, cosine, tangent, sine and cosine have the ability to take any output. Tangent has the ability to give you any output. So sorry, sine and cosine can take any input, has the ability to, their outputs are restricted to -1 to 1, whereas tangent can give any output you want. So these are all interesting properties of these functions that you ought to be familiar with. Have properties like, for example, e to the 0 is always 1, or log to any base of 1 is always 0. Or you have relationship of properties between sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. So my suggestion would be, just because going through all of these functions in detail is like a month of Math 103, and 140 and 135, which is not really possible. So I would encourage you to make your own examples of these functions and sort of work it out on paper and see if you can graph them, if you can feel sure about what the domain is, what the range is, what the special properties of these functions are. And that practice is going to help you in the future as well as we go ahead in this semester with this course, because you do require to reason with yourself quite a bit and be able to convince yourself that you understand a particular topic. Okay, that's it for this video.